This is the Bodyweight Mastery 1-year action plan. My name is Lee Weiland, CEO of Pacific Rim Athletics, creator of Powerbatics, and welcome to training. Now, I will have already emailed you guys a link to this document so that you can follow along and fill in the blanks that we're going to go through step by step. If you did not get that email, then you'll be able to easily follow the link in the first comment to get access to this document. And like I said, we're going to go through step by step so that you really have a solid framework for making some serious progress this year. And if you implement this 1-year bodyweight mastery action plan, you're going to gain complete body weight strength and skill. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is a combination of a few things, okay? A combination of strength and flexibility. And these things are going to be developed simultaneously, especially when you're working two goals such as skills. It's going to develop mobility, and then something very important that is actually a critical factor in making this long-term so that you have sustainability, and that is neurological rewiring. And so when you're working in combination, developing your strength at the same time as flexibility, at the same time as your mobility, which takes into consideration neurological rewiring that's going to completely overhaul even your lifestyle and your mindset through skills development, it's going to lead to long-term sustainability. And some examples of those would be, if you've watched this, our channel before, you know what a press handstand is. That's the first blank there. So press handstand, and I've got some of these videos queued up for you. All right, so a press handstand, and then here's Brian doing an L stand, which is a progression to the V stand, which is the second blank here. Here's Bogdan demonstrating a V stand, another of our students. And then another example is the muscle up. Here's Patrick doing muscle up. I think this is his first muscle up ever attained. He's almost 60. And the reason why I use those as examples is because the press handstand is a very good example of holistic, complete, total strength. But it's upper body pushing. But it involves the core and leg flexibility and all those pieces. And the V stand is a good one for core strength. The muscle up is pulling strength all the way through to pushing strength in the dip. And then the S is for splits, or as we call it, the leg iron cross. And so this is leg work, okay? This serious leg work. And then one example, skill, and the best example that I could share with you guys is the flare. And so just a single, simple flare combines all of that. It combines pushing strength, core strength, leg flexibility, all of it, okay? And then that, of course, it's like a full demonstration of all of these pieces right there. And, I meet people all the time, athletes, so on, and we talk about some of these mechanics and things, professional athletes. And one thing that always comes up whenever they ask about this kind of training is and something that we discuss is its applicability to all of the different sports. It's really advantageous whenever you train this way. And one story that I share is that, I grew up doing breakdancing and power moves and experimenting in martial arts. And then whenever Hoist won the UFC in 1994, it was like, oh, all right, got to add that in, got to add the grappling. And it was relatively easy. And something that I hear a lot is that a lot of people get injured doing jiu-jitsu and grappling some of these things. And ironically, just the other day is whenever I realized I never got hurt doing grappling. But I hear about a lot of these injuries all the time. And when I started doing it, I was like, this is really easy to pick up. And I attribute that to just all of the movement and all of the strength and the breakdancing and everything. and all of the things that we systematized in Powerbatics. Okay. And it's going to apply to really every discipline of movement, because you're gaining body mastery in all of these angles, and you're neurologically rewiring your brain, your body. And so it's going to have, obviously, an impact on every area of life, okay, all the way up to age and just feeling good with how you move. And again, that word always coming up, sustainability. Okay. So we're going to keep diving in a little bit deeper. And so some problems that arise, I'm going to dive into those, and then we're going to go into some serious depth on training. But and make sure to get the document, open that up, take a look. But a couple problems that people run into, we're going to go over some important solutions to those problems. And we hear these all the time. Okay. Now, a big one is this: we are not doing fitness. All right. I don't even like that word. I'm going to put a strike through that word right now. You know, some of the most important things that we have in this life were given to us as gifts: our body, our mind, the intangible things like logic and love, those immaterial qualities of life are just part of the designed, created order. And what fitness has become is this industrial complex that's become so massive and so there's no barrier to entry, professionally speaking, and everything has become so watered down and cookie cutter, just like any other big, massive industry that you can think of. And it does a lot of detriment to a lot of people. And so, there'll be compartmentalization that takes place where it's just the cardio component. That's a very easy example of how to express this to you, but just the segmentation of how that happens, of just cardio or just strength, or I need my weights and my machines, or what equipment do I need? And that's just a fitness mindset, which I don't even entertain that. That's not even a part of my life. Fitness just isn't that. It's physical and mental training. And that becomes body weight mastery. It's a whole different way of thinking. Okay. A whole different way of thinking. And to get underneath that, we've got to understand that there's a difference in terms of how we think. Okay. Again, the industrialization of quote unquote fitness has led to this oversaturation of gizmos, gadgets, and gurus that lead to a short-term way of thinking. So the easy one again is, how can I get a six-pack in 6 weeks? Well, let me ask you, what good is getting rid of your spare tire if you've got a flat tire? Okay. That's where we go into long-term thinking and the development of skills. And not only that, because skills themselves can be segmented. Oh, how can I learn a press handstand? How can I learn a flare? What's the fastest way to learn a backflip? That's not a good way of thinking. That's a segmented way of thinking. It should be this body mastery style of thinking. Okay. And that is going to lead us into long-term sustainable growth where you actually don't lose skills, but you have them into we train kids and teens and young adults, and, Bogdan is in his 20s all the way up to Brian and Patrick, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70-year-olds doing that and having that sense of confidence in their body, which is something that's lost. A lot of people lose confidence over time in their body because of just how the world has gotten to be set up, and in terms of employment, the kind of job people have, career, kind of food, the industrialization of fitness, education, even going deeper, all of these things tie together and create lifestyles for people that then lead to this lack of confidence in their body, in their mind, and what they can do and pursue in life. Okay. And so it starts with your mind, and we're going to get into the physical. Don't worry. It's going to be in depth. but your mind, all right? We want to avoid having these thinking habits. We don't want to overthink. People get caught up in overthinking about everything from their problems in life to their training, like the form and technique, and is this little thing right, and is that little thing right? And honestly, for 99% of the population, those things don't matter at all. They really don't. And we stress things like pointed feet or pointed hands for technique so that we can keep going. And it builds other things like parts of the core, and the leg is built by pointing feet. But honestly, 99% of the questions that people have, like, is the medial aspect of this part of the anatomical element of their body, that's overthinking. Or something like an ache and pain, and is this anterior part of the pelvic, overthinking. Train, that's it, train. Okay, then don't overconsume. Okay, so that's everything. Like, don't overconsume food, obviously, but don't overconsume videos. That is easy to get addicted to. Don't overconsume like anything else too, video games and all those kind of things. But don't overconsume content. It's so easy to overconsume content. Just turn it off. Connect with people. Get into community. And then don't overdo it. Don't overdo a good thing. We see that. That accounts for that's probably the most frequent issue. So let's say somebody is not athletic, but then they dive in. Have you ever done that? You haven't been training for a while, and then you just dive in, and then something happens, and then you go back to not being able to train, and it's just a cycle because you overdo it. Or people who are athletic, and then they keep going and going and going, thinking every day is game day, and you can't train like that either. You're going to end up with injuries and stuff. So instead, we want to have this mindset. We want to adopt these 3 C's. This has been in our business for a long time in Pacific Rim Athletics. I remember doing whole workshops at schools and stuff where we would go over these 3 C's. So first is community. The second is commitment. And the third is courage. And I don't mean going and, jumping off something or all just acting crazy without the training, because the training leads to confidence that gives you the courage. But also it starts with courage. It starts with your mindset of the big one is this: thinking outside the box and getting outside of the mainstream and getting away from people that aren't thinking this way, because that'll be the biggest things that hold you back is your own thoughts and other people. And so you want to adopt that mindset of positive community. Like, that is so important. So important. And it's hard to really understand that from looking outside in. And that's all right, because I'm sure that there's people in your life right now that you can identify as the non-community people to have in your life, and then the people that are positive that should be part. Okay. But people make so much more progress whenever they have the community and they're coachable and all that stuff. So stop complaining and start having courage. And complaining is such an insidious little thing. It'll get in there in these little aspects of your life that you don't even realize. Like this, for example, this one people don't even realize. Uh, uh, if someone asks you, "Oh, did you go do such and such?" "Oh no, I didn't get to." Look at that. Even that can be complaining. Like, if there's this fun activity that you didn't get to do, like something or someone in your life held you back and you're the victim in this situation, or all the way up to injuries and all these other things that people rightly could complain about. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to be like, "Oh, I didn't get to do this." No, I did this instead because of this reason. And so maybe in the future, I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. Completely different mindset shift. Now look at that and look how you're talking through the day and stuff, and how people are talking to you. Okay. And so I just say, just get rid of it all. Stop complaining, period. Count everything as joy, even your trials and tribulations. Count them as joy because you're going to grow and you're going to get stronger as a result. If you get rid of the complaining and you have the courage instead. And it starts mentally. So just attributing that, saying, yeah, this is joy. This is something that I can overcome. All right. This is progress. This is an area where I can win and I can make progress. Instructions now, diving into the meat. So we're going to go through month by month, months 1 through 3. We're going to be looking at the foundation. This is where people are starting their training, okay? You don't want to ever dive into something fully and then try to do everything all at once. I'm sure you've heard of the expression, don't try to eat the elephant all in one go. It's piece by piece, although that's really a bad analogy. Like, who would want to do that? But don't do it. Don't try to do everything simultaneously. Okay, do them part by part, piece by piece. Eventually, it will be simultaneous. Okay, and this will just be a lifestyle. Now, let's just look at the training. This is what I want. This is what I would want people to start off with first. Not even nutrition. And we'll talk about nutrition in a second, but training. All right. We have a 6-part block, 30 to 90 minutes. Some of our most advanced athletes, they did like 4 or 5 days a week, 90 minutes a day. Okay. Some of our most advanced athletes also enjoy training 3 hours a day. It's just personal, and they make a lot of progress that way. But starting off, you could do 30 minutes a day. All right. Shouldn't stay that way. You want to build and grow into that to the point where your activities and stuff are more than most people's full workouts. Okay. Just a normal everyday activity to you would be like more than someone's full workout. And then you go and you train. All right. But that's down the line. And so we'll start with, so this is a 6-part training block. Okay. So let me show you. So this is our warm up, and we've got a YouTube video about this, and you guys can watch our warm up in depth right here. So you guys will be able to click that link and watch that. So again, get that document. And then and we go through all aspects of joint preparation and stuff. And it only takes 10 minutes. Okay. We took 1 hour to go through the warm up at this event in Spain, but it only takes 10 minutes. And then we go into some cardio. And so this example might be doing laps around the gym with vault blocks in the way so that we're practicing the skills as part of cardio. See what I'm saying about that simultaneous aspect? And again, whenever you start off, it won't be like that. It might just be the warm up with maybe some strength protocols. Okay. And here's a video if you want to go a little bit more in depth on the strength protocols. All right. Basic training, 5 rounds of death. But they're actually just static holds, and you'll see those in that video. And then skills acquisition, all right? So that would be things like spending 10 minutes. And each of these really is like 10 minutes, like 10 minutes of warm-up, 10 minutes of cardio, 10 minutes of strength, 10 minutes of, and this strength workout here, because they're 1-minute holds each, 5 rounds, so 5 times 5 is 25 minutes. So you could try that, and it would be a little bit longer than what we typically take for strength. And then maybe 10 minutes of practicing a skill. And maybe skill is just a frog stand, something really easy for you. Or all the way up to, we would take, 10, 20 minutes of practicing double back flips or something. So this is an hour, okay? And then we go into flexibility training where we'll spend 10, 15 minutes. And then we'll round table, sharing wins and victories for that training session. And that's so important to end on a positive note. And so that's kind of how we train. And people are training online. They just do this one-on-one in group and then sharing their wins and victories. But again, if you want a full, like a sample, you could try this. basic training, and then we could try some of the aspects of this brutal warm-up. And then your nutrition. So what should you be doing for nutrition? All right, the Pearl solution is what I call it. And really, it's this. Your nutrition should be fueling performance. That's what that P stands for. It should be ultimately how you feel. How you feel. And that's personal. Everyone is unique, okay? And so if you go and you just slam down a whole pizza, you might not feel the best for training. You probably won't. Everything on that pizza is processed, and all that dough is processed. That's how you make dough. You have to process it. The flip side of that is whole, real, and then if you can, local food. Okay. So the Pearl solution. And just think about that. Let's use that as an example. Okay. And often I'll see in the comments, people ask, what should I do for nutrition? I'll just tell you. I'll give that one away. Because I want you guys to get healthier. I want you guys to feel that sense of courage. Like, yeah, I want to train. I want to train with you guys. So I want you guys to make progress. Okay. And the nutrition is an easy one, because that's not something that we can, that we have to train you. Injury recovery, skill acquisition, all those pieces of that puzzle, building that into a lifestyle, that's a long-term thing. But nutrition, do this in a month and come back, report back in the comments. You can use the 1.5 meal strategy, where you, in the morning, if you don't want to do the whole intermittent fasting thing, just have like something that is fatty oil, like MCT oil, coconut oil, avocado in the morning, something very light, and then go into your day, and then later on have 1 or 2 meals very closely put together. That's whole, real, local foods. So not telling you to get rid of anything, but just what to actively focus on. Everything from spinach, red onion, salmon, all those things, just whole, real, local food. Okay. Make that the substance priority. All right. And so what we're doing in those first 3 months is working towards a couple of specific things. And I already showed you those things. And they would be, we're aggressively going to build a press handstand and a V stand and a muscle up. And that might start with just attaining your first pull up. That's a lot of people's goals. It's just getting their first pull up, all the way to muscle ups, and even learning handstands in something that's moving, like rings or canes or other things. All right. And then, so that's the first 3 months. Plus there's a kata. Okay. There's a kata that you're going to start learning, that you should start learning. And we have a lot of videos about katas on our channels. But katas are basically just putting different skills together into one fluid motion. And we have competitions for katas that you could check on the Powerbatics channel, $1,000 cash prizes so far for those. But we use those for a very specific reason. We use those for level ups, because they combine everything into a unit. They force cardio development, because you can't practice katas without practicing cardio. And we do other things for cardio as well, running, sprinting into the skills, vaulting, etc. But there's an example of a kata in this video here. And so you'll be able to see that. But doing something like, even if it's just, a muscle up is a kata. It is a static hang, a pull up, a transition, which with shoulder extension, and then pressing strength, a dip. So it's a very small little kata that we call a muscle up, and it's just a single skill. So an example easy kata would be like a static hang, chin up, down, legs straight out to a hanging L, left, right, center, down, stick. Easy. That's like a dyna combo or a small kata. Level ups, you should be leveling up every 8 to 24 weeks. Now, this is very easy to see whenever you're just adding weight to a barbell, or just increasing time on an elliptical or whatever, and you can like slowly gauge that over time. Honestly, like most people that come and talk with us, they're so bored of that, and you know, and rightfully so. So training towards skills, on the other hand, what we want to see is gradual development marked by periodic milestones. So every 8 weeks to 24 weeks, you should be leveling up in some type of discipline of movement. Okay. Now, month 6 through 9, all right, this is where, all right, let me show you a kata. Show you a kata. All right, so there's the warm-up video, and here's an example kata. All right, this would be like level one handstand. So frog, press back, turn it over, slide back, lift the legs. This is like level 2. So extending to the stalder, down to the elbow, little balance there. And then notice, there's power through that, and then the stick. And there's power through that, okay? So you can see there's cardio. Like you can see I'm inhaling right there. All right. It's tough to go through that. And that was 20 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds of powerful, strong movement. And so that should be something that you're implementing into your training to really find full benefit. And then if you train this way, like I'm saying, like look at this. A lot of people will have a hard time just getting into this position here, this wide, low horse stance. We call this a stalder squat. What this does is it sets up for the entry into the stalder position like that. Okay. And so you see, you're always building. It's like Legos. You're just building and developing these new skills that lead to other things that help build. My team utilizes the term uh, uh, imbalances and overcompensations. And then they also use the term splintered skills. So a lot of people will have like this, great pushing strength, and I can hold a handstand, or I can do a big bench press or whatever. But it's splintered because nothing else works in conjunction with that. And so when you train this way, it helps to build your body, and then again, you're building confidence in your body and sustainability long term. But there's a few. Okay, there's a few. Caught them. All right, being able to see that. There's the steps of it. Okay. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, and then going into the next piece of the puzzle, months. Oh, and you want to you're going to be able to build towards the area of specialization. So we're going to get into a couple of different elements of Powerbatics. So before we do, I just wanted to show you Venny. And so Venny, he came in and he wanted to learn like parkour, but one of the first things that we achieved together was the muscle up, and he learned a trick for that. And then he's just started acquiring all these different skills, and he leveled up in free running. And then his first level 10 was ninja strength, and you can see him doing the muscle ups there. But that was his area of specialization, was actually strength. It wasn't all of the acrobatics and the stunts; it was the strength. So you see a muscle up. That's part of ninja strength. There's some free running. There's some more free running, round off backflip. But it started by building and really kind of getting in there and addressing a lot of weak links, bridging, the muscle up, handstands, learning some of those moves. And then eventually he progressed to the area that he really enjoyed, which was the ninja strength. So he became level 10 in ninja strength. And this is after he had when we met, he had 5 hip surgeries, shoulder surgeries. He's had those, knee surgeries. So it was serious stuff. Spine is fused together. And now he's doing all that stuff that you see. Okay. Just a lot of these things are really cool, like this double vault here. Bang. And the muscle up there on the aerial silks. And then the wall backflip off the pole. So all of that is related, but again, he had that area of specialization first. Ninja strength, level 10, building out his weak links, which contributed to the development of these skills. And now he's 50, 53, I think, right now. 54. He's about to turn 54. Still going strong. And then the elements. So I want to share that with you. So let's see here. So this is something that I drew up just to kind of visually depict what we do, like what our training is like. So we've got these different positions in here. So here's our handstand positions: handstand, hollow back shoulder, flexibility, planche, core strength, V-stand, core strength, stalder, press to handstand, all of that leg mobility, the leg iron cross, of course. And then these are a couple of moves inside ninja strength. So we have pushing, and for the handstand push-up, the front lever, back lever, human flag, pulling, leg strength, single leg squat, amongst other things. This is just a quick, easy way of demonstrating what we do. And these lead into then power moves or circ strength or ninja strength, like we talked about, or free running with flips and stunts and all of those. And again, it's a conjunction of mind and body, having solid relationships and resources that contribute to your health. And then all of these pieces like structure and having a system and accountability lead to success. The progressions, the coaching, this is a circular process that happens here. And inside of these pieces is the potential injury zone. And how we want to avoid those injuries is by having the progressions, having the coaching, taking these step by step and piece by piece. Okay. And any roadblock that people think they have is really their own doing. Even past injuries. I mean, we have literally seen it all, and it starts with that mind. And then we can go through step by step, piece by piece, and avoid these things. And even if these roadblocks do arise, change the mind, change the training cycle so that we can just keep going. You want to just keep going, okay? And so there's 6 moves in handstand. We covered those just now. Then there's 10 moves inside of ninja strength. The power moves include all of that circular stuff, so like flares or swipes, windmills, aerial spinning handstands. And then the circ, that has the aerial silks, straps, and hoop. And then a cool breakdown of free run. How we have it is we've got 4 apparatus, and that's the floor. So that's all of the flips on the floor, and then vaults. So just propelling yourself over an obstacle, like I showed you the Venny doing the vaults. And then the drops, so things coming down from something. And again, you guys can easily see how this applies to daily life, okay? It doesn't have to be in a gym. It doesn't have to be using foam blocks. These things can be used in everyday life. So I'm sure you guys can think of examples for that. And then on the wall. So being able to run up a wall and some fun things that people develop with things like wall flips. And we have a whole series, a whole progression all the way up, plus katas for all of that. And so this ends up being, if you've got 10 levels, a kata per level, you've got 10 katas times 5, 50 katas. All right, so how do you implement all of this? Okay, well, again, I'll direct you back to some of these videos. All right, we've got the warm-up video. We've got a basic training video. We've got a kata video. I showed you some of the things in this video, some examples, and some of the students doing moves, Venny doing moves, the example of the kata that I demonstrated. And then what we could do is we could go to this link here, and here's the link, by the way, for getting this cheat sheet. But the link to get into the training and to even get more. So if you fill in your details here, then you'll be able to get a 15-minute training here. And then you'll be able to contact my team. You'll likewise be able to watch and hear their stories and get a lot of really good insights on how they made progress and how they developed all these. And we're not talking about small little gains and stuff. We're talking about serious strength and skill development that's sustainable. So like Benny, for example, he's been training for nearly a decade on this stuff. He's almost 54 and he's still doing like, he's actually, his goal now is to become level 10 in the handstand element of Powerbatics, which would include one arm handstands and all of that. And yeah, so anyway, sustainability. And so you'll be able to hear exactly how they're doing it. And then not only that, I'll show you this really quick. So you'll be able to, like I said, message my team and I'll show you how that works. So you'll get a video. You'll get a video right here, or not a video, but a message from Alexis. It'll look like this. And then this is me. I type some things back, just increase flexibility and strength and stuff. And then she's going to ask this, what drew you to our program? What are you thinking about? Just to go a little bit more in depth. So it's not automated. Like there's real people on the other side. Okay. And then, and so I just share a little bit more and you'll be able to do that. Just share what, your age, your goals, some of the things, some of your hangups and stuff. And then her just getting back to me about that. And we go a little bit more in depth on that. And then if you do want to train with us, then you go into the custom plan for you, individualized training. Everybody is unique. Everything that we do is custom. And then go into pricing, investment, stuff like that. If you want to go that direction, which, like I said, having the community and having the coaching and stuff, there's nothing that I've seen that compares with that. All right. And then just a few little last thoughts here. You'll be able to go over your goals, your past roadblocks, and then your future vision for what you want, for what you really want, sustainably so. Requirements. Now, you can't be a dabbler. You've got to be an action taker. Okay. You got to be a doer. All right. You can't be a, what was that one? You can't be a doubter. You've got to be a believer. All right. You've got to, it sounds cliche, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the direction that you're headed. You've got to choose a positive direction that you want to go, and you got to believe in that, despite what anybody else says, despite even what you, as I was saying before the battery died, you can't be a doubter. You have to be a believer. Despite what anybody else says and despite what even you might be telling yourself on a subconscious level, you got to get in there and do the neurological rewiring that it takes to make that change. And then you can't be a DIYer, a do-it-yourselfer. I mean, there's merit to that, but at the same time, we're designed for community, and that's where we learn and grow the best. That's where we become our best selves. And so instead of being a DIYer, adopt that mindset of the 3 C's again. Okay. Commitment, community, and courage. And then just train. That's it. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.